Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. We have very active lifestyles. It's not all wandering the countryside aimlessly or scaring passing motorists. And we all love a good cup of joe. And there's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. Bold, robust, delicious. It's coffee that can wake the dead. With over a dozen different roasts and flavors, Deadly Grounds can satisfy the most finicky of coffee addicts. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? we're off a day. My name's Lee. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have a totally kick-ass show for you today. And if you're watching right now, you know why you're here. So we're not going to delay any further, but with us, as always, Benjamin. How's it going, bud?
What's happening? What's happening, everybody? So, yeah, like Leo said, we got an amazing show tonight. I just want to point out one thing. We've had a ton of shows over 3 years from all different types of industries, but this is the first time that we've actually had a guest that's been in every one of those industries. So that's all I'm saying. Go ahead. Next.
Jeffrey.
It is Tuesday. It's Tuesday, and it's an hour early, so I'm really fucked up here. So
Yeah, you can have your chicken early this week.
Chicken?
Yeah, chicken.
Yeah. No, so we got a kick-ass show. I don't want to delay this anymore. Everybody knows who this guy is. Let's welcome Mr. Tommy Chong.
Hey.
Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Is my mic on?
Oh, yeah, you're good.
On.
You can hear me?
We can hear
Everybody
you.
can hear you. Matter of fact, today is our first show. We're streaming live on Dead Dork Radio. That's going on right now.
Oh, welcome, Bed Dork.
Dead door.
So, ton of people in the comments. I'm going to try to get to the comments as best as I can, but definitely a lot of love coming for you, Tommy.
Well, then that's good. That's what we wanted. We wanted a lot of love to come from Tommy.
Love's nice.
You know,
it works.
Outside of anything else, we want nothing else to come for Tommy, folks. Just love. He's already dealt with all that in his life, folks.
That's right. No more time. No more bullshit.
Go ahead, Jeffrey. I know you're itching.
No. I just want to say, everybody knows you for obviously Up in Smoke and the movies that really put you on the map. But I think tonight, we're going to touch on that a little bit, but there's a lot of other stuff that we're going to hit you with too.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
You gonna go for it? You letting me go?
Well, I tried to find it. I couldn't find it. I want to know what the B stands for in the middle of your name.
Which one?
The B.
Oh, my full name, Thomas B. Kin Chong.
Yes. What's the B stand for?
It was Chinese, and I'm guessing it was a Chinese uncle that tacked it in there. He also gave me my Chinese name. He wrote it on on the birth certificate. I think the B. No, I'm guessing because it wasn't talked about at all in the family. I was the second child, and so I was like in the middle.
Right.
In a lot of ways, I was an only child.
So you were the B kid.
Yeah, and B, I think, stands for Bing, B-I-N-G. But my mother didn't want me to be teased, at school or anything. So she, instead of Bing, that would have caused a lot of mess. So she just put a B period. And my wife now, my present wife, Shelby, when I first met her, she was the first girl I ever met that loved my middle name.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So I'm gonna use the B as for Bong, Thomas Bong Chong. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Bong. Okay, that works.
That's what I'm gonna go. That's what I'm gonna use.
I like that. Yeah, Thomas Bong Chong.
Right?
Yeah, Bong
Now
Chong.
it sounds Chinese to me. I
It
don't
is
know.
Chinese. Well, the bong is a Chinese word for water pipe.
Right,
Right?
right.
Yeah, that's
Well,
all.
look at that. Even my wife's joining us from work.
Oh, cool, cool.
So you know this is a good show when that happens. So
Yeah,
I'm
when
gonna,
your
I'm gonna
wife pays attention.
right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh,
twist that and take the
must be
beat
on to something.
and spin this all the way back to the early days. You started playing guitar. You were in bands. I want to know a little bit about Too Much Monkey Business in something called Blue Balls.
Oh. Well, Too Much Monkey Business is a song that we recorded because we won a contest at a teen fair in that had to be Vancouver. It was in Vancouver,
Yep.
and we won the Battle of the Bands, and the prize was a recording contract with RCA Victor Studios. Only trouble is they never had a studio in Vancouver, and so the promoter of the teen fair, who was paying off the prize, found a radio station where we could record if we stayed in the hallway. We could we put the mics in the hallway and then we'll record this there, and that was our studio. And Tommy sang the song "Too Much Monkey Business," but it was written by Chuck Berry. Now the other side was a thing called Junior's Jerk.
Yep.
But I wrote that one and I played. That was well, we never knew we had to have a B side. We just had an A side, and then they said, "Well, we need a B side," so I made it up on the spot. It was a song that I'd been playing at dances when it was instrumental time, but that was back in the day.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then, like I said, that was the first part of the question. The second part was I want to know more about Blue Balls.
Well, blue balls is a term that we used to get. Now it was time when I was at that age where we learned a lot of sayings, but we had no experience with the sayings, what they said, But apparently it was a condition that men get or boys get when they're aroused and they got no release. And so they turn blue.
Did that answer your question, Ben?
Yeah, but I was referring to the theater that was the Almer at one time that he called Blue Balls, but I like his rendition better.
Right?
Because I'm pretty sure that's what it means.
Well, we sell or someone sells a license plate from the movie, Up in Smoke movie.
Yeah.
And the license plate reads Muff Diver. And it's a biggest seller, and we have to autograph them. and I'm positive that not too many people really know what Muff Diver means.
Oh, I think you'd be surprised, but in today's world, there's not a lot of muff.
Right?
No. Unfortunately. I mean, that's the last I heard.
You see how fast the show was derailed, right?
Yeah.
Oh
It
yeah.
was me that derailed it this time, not Jeff.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give a shout out real quick to our guest from last night who knows you, Tommy. Actually, you and him worked together when you first started out. It was Murray Langston, the unknown comic.
Murray, is he still alive?
Oh yeah. He said you, him, and Cheech worked at Canopos.
Yep, we
and
sure
then
did.
After that, you worked with you left there to go to Red Fox's place.
Well, we actually started in Red Fox's club, and then we ended up at Canopos, and all the places that work, and the Troubadour, and then finally, we got discovered. But yeah, Murray was part of the gang. There was like a tribe of comedians going from club to club and venue to venue, and just anything to get on stage, and that was us. Murray was part of the gang. It was a nice gang. It was a cool. They're all cool people.
Very cool.
Doing nothing but going out to make people laugh.
Right.
Yeah, and trying to get that stage time, trying to, you performing anywhere, any time for anybody, a lot of fun.
Well, he wanted to say hi and send his love.
Good. Well, I'm glad he's still alive, and he's a very funny guy.
Yes,
And,
yes, he is.
Yeah, very funny, very funny.
So, go ahead. You want to go? You sure?
No, go ahead. Yeah,
I was just going to bring it up a little bit. That's all.
Go ahead.
You sure?
Yep.
Am I stepping on your toes? No, I'm just kidding. So keeping with the music part of things, just real quick, you co-wrote and performed on a lot of the Cheech and Chong albums, and you actually were nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Comedy Album.
Yeah.
How was that? How was that type of a feeling?
It was beautiful. I mean, but it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, like, we're the jack of all trades, and we've been trying them all until we found one that worked. And that was Cheech and I, because between the two of us, we had done many jobs, and so when we finally found one that paid off, it was really sweet because we knew the Three Dog Night. You remember that band?
Yep.
Three Dog Night. Well, the drummer happened to be my first wife's brother, made him my brother-in-law, and I actually gave him his first job as a drummer in one of the house band at the clubs that we had, and Floyd Sneed is his name, and he was one of the founding original members of the Three Dog Night, and he's the only one that's still around of the old gang.
Wow.
So big shout out to Floyd.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's actually awesome. Ties things right up.
Yeah.
It goes full circle. I mean, I grew up listening to Three Dog Night, listening to you guys and all this kind of stuff, But yeah, nominated for 6 Grammys, actually.
Yep.
In total, right?
What's that? Yeah.
You nominated for 6, winner of 1. That was in 74, right? What album was that for?
I think either Los Cochinos or I forget. Yeah, I forget
Los
which one.
Cochinos.
Yeah,
it was Los Cochinos.
I think it was Los Cochinos.
Yeah.
Two dirty
that was
guys.
a quiz. You passed.
Yeah,
it was a quiz. You passed. It's really him, folks.
No, that was quite a while ago, man. I'll tell you the most fun we had because of my connection with the Three Dog Night. When we came down to Hollywood, we contacted, Floyd and everybody, and we went to a couple of their recording sessions and got to know the management, Three Dog Night management. And so they wanted to manage us. They were like our first managers, but they were a music gang, and they had no idea of the comedy. So it was like management in name only. Like if we needed to drop a name, they were there. And then Cheech and I would go from gig to gig on our little scooter. And so I thought, I'm going to ask the management to help me buy a car so we can, take the job a little more serious. And Three Dog Night, instead of giving me $500 for a car, which I asked for, they handed me the contract and said, see you later. And we said, okay. So it was a nice, clean split. And then the next time we saw them was in the elevator at the Grammy at the Shriner Auditorium, where they were handing out Grammys. And we had been nominated for our first Grammy, along with the Three Dog Night. They were nominated for a Grammy too. And so we met our ex-managers in the elevator going up to see who won the Grammy.
That's pretty cool.
Wow. Wow. So you're a writer, you're a producer, you're a director, you're a voice actor, you're a comedian. What the
Guitar
fuck else
player.
do you do?
Guitar player.
Musician,
Uh,
cannabis advocate.
Hell of a good husband. Oh, one of the best husbands on the planet.
Right on.
Yep, I am. See, my deafness helps in a marriage. and my fading
What was that,
eyesight.
honey?
And my
Yeah,
fading
I gotcha.
eyesight too.
My
you know.
fading eyesight.
It all helps in a marriage, boy. Because all you have to do is just, say yes, dear. That's the only phrase that you really need to know. Yes,
How
dear.
long you been married?
We've been together legally in probably around 40 years legally. We've been together for maybe 50 plus years. I met her when she was, I literally met her and she was in high school and I was a married man living next door. Yeah, my career would be over if that happened now.
Right. Yeah.
And we were just friends. And she liked the band and she was actually quite a loyal fan. And
first groupie?
we're just friends. But we took acid together one night.
And that was it.
And we've been together ever since. That was it. Yeah.
Wow. And still living the dream.
Oh, and she actually made me kind of helped me with my spirituality, because when I met her, my prayers really were answered, and over the years I come to realize that God really likes me. He thinks I'm the best, man.
I thought it might have been because she screams, "Oh God," a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that too. Oh my God,
Oh boy.
It's a different kind of God when you get older, It's a little more age appropriate,
So we got a ton of questions or a ton of comments, but this question came in from Jeremy Courtney asking, are you still on THC or are you strictly CBD now? Big fan of your work, Tommy.
I don't have any kind of, what do you call that?
Regiment?
No, willpower to really know or care what I'm doing. I just have, I just found out about the difference between THC and CBD just lately, when I started making a lot of money selling CBDs, and to me, weed is just weed, you just smoke it and get high. But, I've been learning all the good things about it, all the good medicine, and how it helps everything. And I'm just glad I lucked into the right things. Like I said, God really likes me, man.
I would say so, yeah.
Weed is really our connection to God. In the Bible, it said, Moses talked to the burning bush. And obviously, the burning bush was the cannabis plant,
Yep.
And how else would you get a Jew to lead a whole bunch of people into the desert? That has to be some good dope, boy.
Right?
And that's probably what they were looking for. What that plant look like, Moses? Come on.
It's going to be over there in one of those mirages. We'll find it.
Oh, man. No, the weed connects everything. And,
right.
And woof. I mean, everything, And it really
reconnects
makes you
everything.
forget shit too. The other day luckily I wasn't driving, but I really almost panicked, but Shelby was driving. I couldn't figure out where we were going, and I kind of remembered, we were going home. And I'm not drunk, I don't drink.
Right.
But I do smoke,
Oh yeah.
a fair amount,
A fair amount.
Yeah.
I like how he put it. A fair amount.
Yeah. Well, when you don't have a supply problem, then
That's
it's
true.
like self discipline. That's the
Right,
word I'm looking for.
Now,
Yeah.
do you do edibles at all, or you strictly smoke?
Yeah, sometimes on purpose too. I don't know how many weekends I sort of stayed in bed from saying I don't think I took enough. I don't feel anything.
It's only been 10 minutes.
I better eat this other half.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Right?
And then, it's Tuesday already? Wow. But the great thing about a weed hangover is you're thirsty and hungry. I find, that's about
Yep.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
Not like a booze hangover. Booze is like almost medical. You almost want to throw up to feel better. Remember those drinking days?
A long time ago.
Yeah. I
Long
went to
time ago.
college. Yeah.
Remember those days where throw up, you'll feel better. Oh, you're right. Oh shit, I got it all over me. Okay.
Speaking of smoking, so I read 3 years ago on your bucket list, you've smoked with all the Beatles except for Paul.
Yep.
Within those 3 years, has that happened?
No. Although he knows about it.
Okay.
We've had a mutual friend, a guy that did a couple of movies with him, a director, and he told Paul last time he saw Paul that 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 he's on my bucket list, and Paul said, "Oh, anytime, mate. Yeah, we can do it." Yeah, Paul's really the only bona fide ordained pothead of the group. I mean, he's been busted.
Right.
Right. He's been busted.
Yeah. I think he was the only one. I don't think George, Ringo, or what's his name? Paul. No, John.
Yeah. John.
I came very close to smoking with John, but he was having immigration problems and he didn't want to get high at that time.
Right.
Yeah, that was nice. And Ringo, I don't think Ringo ever did smoke pot. I think he was just a boozer,
Billy's asking, how was your experience on The Masked Singer?
Mixed. It was very mixed. I mean, I don't like wearing a mask at the best of times, and a full hood and a mask and all that shit, And the thing is, it's like a celebrity show, but you're in a mask, so no one knows who you are. And so I felt like Hannibal Lecter, because
I was hearing shit.
you had to be hidden when you drive to the show, and no one can see you, and they wheel you in the back entrance. Okay, dog, shut up. What are you doing? What are you barking? What, do you have a bad dream or something? Where do you go? Oh, he's gone. Oh, someone must be home. Well, I guess it's Paris, my son.
Oh, cool.
Were we talking about anything significant?
Not really. You were talking about You were talking
Leo, why
about
don't
how
you
it was
run our
being on The
halftime
Masked
show?
Singer.
Oh, the Masked Singer. Yeah. I liked it when they discovered me. You know, okay, I'm masked. Oh, thank God. You know, it was a lot of work. Yeah, I had to learn how to sing. You know,
You couldn't
it
smoke
was
under
a
the
lot of
mask
work.
either.
What's that?
I said you couldn't smoke under the mask either. So
No, anywhere. You
See, the
know,
whole
they
thing
didn't know.
goes.
They didn't want anybody to know who I was, and so I had to be. You know,
that's when the edibles kicked in.
I wish. No, you don't want to do shit because you don't want to screw up. A whole show like that. You know, by being too stoned. So I never. No, I never. I don't get stoned when I work. You know. But after work,
Right?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't smoke when I work either. Neither does Ben.
Nope.
Not with power tools.
Well,
Nope.
what do you do? Oh, power tools?
Yeah, I'm a woodworker by trade.
Are you? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. How many
We
fingers?
actually-
You got all your fingers? Oh, you got them all? Yeah,
Yep.
you do.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a
Yeah, and
couple
I-
that are fucked
And
up.
I still have all mine.
you must be skilled. Oh, you're both woodworkers.
Jeff's a high-end furniture builder now, but he actually trained me in the
Wow.
construction industry for about 20 years.
Wow.
So, and I've been doing
I
that for about
dabble,
30.
but
Yeah.
I'm just enough to know when to quit before I hurt myself,
Well, I think every guy's dabbled with wood.
Yeah. I love it now. I got a whole mess of bamboo pipes that I've made, and I like woodwork too, but I like to carve stuff I can smoke out of. Then I feel like I've done good for humanity.
Right.
Nice.
Wow, furniture. Okay, I got a question for you woodworkers. I got some fresh cut, well, it's a couple of years now, maple from a huge tree. And, I want to do some sculpturing with it. But it got infected with some kind of bug that's eating, or some tiny little microscopic bug that's eating it around the edges. What kind of bug is it? Do you know?
I don't know, a wood bug?
Yeah, like a termite, you mean? I don't think it's
No.
termite.
Well, there's all kinds of little bugs that'll get into it. Little tiny spiders too.
Yeah, and
Spiders
how
will
do
live
you
in it.
get rid? How do you
Any
say-
kind of a bug spray will just kill it.
I was going to
that's
say,
Spray.
yeah, don't
So the
smoke
old-
weed.
the
Don't
old
smoke weed
Roundup,
near
huh?
the wood.
Right.
Just don't
Yeah.
smoke the weed near the wood and they won't eat it.
No, I found there are bugs that like weed.
Right.
Oh,
Too
there's a lot
much.
of bugs that like weed.
Yeah.
This
I call
this bug
them
here
my
for
children.
sure.
I was going to say, I call them my children.
Nice.
I-
Hey, Leo, why don't
Yes.
we take our break? And then we will come back and hit this gentleman with some more crap.
Okay, we got a couple questions that came in as well.
So hit the questions real fast because I think you're still downloading something. That I emailed.
I am. Thank you. So I'm gonna mix a little one of the questions that I researched along with this. So Pops is asking, what was it like catching a network sitcom role on the 70s show? And also, I'm going to add Deborah, which played Kitty. It sounds like in the beginning you thought she didn't really care for you, but she did something very touching at the end.
Oh, right. Now, the first question was...
what was it like catching a sitcom role on that 70s show?
Oh, it was incredible. It was one of the nicest things that could happen to me at that time. I had one thing, I would do television, but it had to be, the Up in Smoke character, as close to it as you could get. And the 70s show came along. It was like, no problem. We got you, dude. It was a lot of fun. And Kitty, well, when I joined the show, I was like a guest. I was supposed to be like the guest. They called me the stunt celebrity. Just a guest. I was supposed to be a guest, and then I became a regular. And but in the beginning, Kitty was a little scared of the character. She wasn't sure. you know, actresses, especially of Kitty's caliber, can be very sensitive, you know, super sensitive.
Right.
And but in the end, we slowly developed this beautiful mutual admiration thing. And when we were doing the rap show, she was, my character was called Leo, but instead of saying Leo, I'm really going to miss you, she said, Tommy, I'm really going to miss you. And it was very touching. And I think they left it in the cut because we were filming all this at the time. It was very touching. But yeah, that 70s show I treated it like a school because I had such a small part. I had a lot of downtime, so I would sit in the audience like I was at school and watch how the director directed and how the cameraman and how the grips and how the writers. And I got such great respect for writers. You know, writers usually get no respect. But I'm telling you, I got so much respect for the writers because I realized watching, I did 4 years of that show and I never ad-libbed one line. I ad-libbed a word one time, one word.
Wow.
But in the almost 5 years, every line I said on that show was from the writers. It wasn't from me.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rare, actually. Most people ad-lib something.
Right?
Yeah, well, you know, writing for actors is very tricky. You know, you're a tailor. You have to suit, you know, deal with the actor. And actors are, you know, we're a very weird bunch because of the nature of what we do.
Right.
You know, that's why you get a lot of surprises because, you know, you identify with people in their characters so much so that in real life you think that's who you're talking to. And guys that, you know, I won't name any names, but you know, their whole existence really depends upon writers. Yeah.
Right.
And their ability to act. You know? So it's
Wow.
it's a nice thing to know.
Well, Ben, neither of which we have.
No.
You know what you do have though?
What's
Commercials. And so we're going to take a quick break. I want to remind everybody, definitely check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Still plenty of show left, so stay tuned. But you know what? Here's some commercials. Here we go.
Fucked up nightmare.
Okay. And in honor of Betty White, here is the last commercial that she did.
Thank you for supporting Actors and Others for Animals. We started a long, long time ago. So when you find an organization like Actors and Others for Animals, it sort of unites all of those of us who want to pay back something for all the joy we get out of animals. Please keep up the good work. Believe me, it's deeply appreciated.
Thank you for sitting through all those, and we're back to the show. Right, gentlemen?
We put you to sleep, Tommy?
What's that?
Did we put you to sleep?
No, not totally. in a trance. You put me in a trance state.
See, that was the commercial break so that you could roll a joint.
Oh, I got them all rolled, man. I'm all ready. I could. This could be my safe room. You know, my safe house.
Yep.
I could be under here for at least. Well, I need water. That's all. No, I got water. I'm good for a couple of days anyway.
You know, I read that when you were up in British Columbia, you saw a UFO. Is that?
Oh yeah, I did. It hovered for 3 nights.
Oh wow.
3 nights.
Did it take you, or just was it dropping you off?
No, you know, people don't realize that UFOs are only drones. You see, they don't need to take anybody. They're not humans flying a UFO. In fact, humans can only take up more room and be more useless than anything. The only thing more useless than humans in space is toilet paper. You know? So when you think about it, the UFOs, yeah, they're there, but they're drones. You know, so you're not going to find any skeletons of a UFO crashes. You know, you're going to find electronics. That's all you're going to find.
Made in Japan.
But it's not going to happen because drones will, you know, self-destruct or you know, us humans, we're limited as to what we can see and what we can really understand, you know. And so the UFO I saw, it was light. I definitely saw it. It was a light, just one ball of light, and then it came down, and it just stayed there, and then the next day it was gone. It disappeared. Next night it was gone. Now, but I've been laying on my roof in Calgary. I found out that you know, Calgary has the clearest skies almost in North America.
Oh, wow.
And so in the wintertime, if it's clear, you know, no clouds in the winter, it'd be so clear. I mean, you can touch there are comets, all kinds of things going on in the heavens. Well, when I'd lay on the roof and watch it, you know, and this is before weed or before any kind of psychedelic or anything, just me being naturally curious. Right. And I'd be laying up there, and a couple of nights I saw a formation of a fleet of some kind of air. I guess they were satellites.
Oh, was it a line of them?
Yeah, no, they were in formation. There were like about 8 of them, or
Yep.
maybe 10, and flying in formation.
Yeah,
and they just went across the sky, and then I realized it would be much like watching satellites. in the sky. So whatever it was caught in our orbit, and
That's
and that was back. That had to be in about 54, 55, around there.
Wow.
Okay.
wow.
So they weren't chain satellites.
Wait, Leo is like,
No.
I think he's like, wait a minute.
No. Back in 54, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because recently there's the Elon Musk satellites
Yeah.
for that internet, but that's only within like the last year or two.
Yeah. And you see it, and it moves, and it's great. Yeah. The heavens. Oh, the what I used to see in Calgary. Oh, because we had no surface light. It was a small town then, and but the heavens were, it was incredible. It's comets and meteorites, and the showers, and then you could see all sorts of things in the middle of the night. And one time I was coming home from Sunday school, and they were just
Oh, I'm
talking.
glad you didn't say band camp.
God is everywhere. God is there. And so I was saying, we're okay to myself, okay, God, where are you? Are you here? Looking around. And that's when I felt myself looking up into the heavens. And that's when I saw, like what I said I saw. Yeah, it was quite a moment for me.
That's awesome. Wow. Very cool. I saw one myself back in the 90s, and it was just scared the crap out of me, but it's just something you'll never forget,
How close did you see?
It had to be a couple 100 feet. I grew up on a small farm, and I woke up one night and just heard this like humming noise. And I looked, and it was hovering over my brother's house. And it was just just the next house over, and just up in the air, just stayed there perfectly still, and just I was afraid, like, if I looked at it, maybe they'd know I was looking at them, and
you didn't want to look at him.
Yeah, I just like, oh shit, is that really there? Oh shit.
I can see Leo now.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I'm trying to
He had
peek,
the
and I'm like,
blanket. He had the blanket
funny.
over his head with one eye out.
That's funny. Did you tell anybody?
only told a couple people. Now a lot of people know, but yeah.
Tomorrow, Leo
But
will
at
be
the
in the
time,
no. I kept it to myself because it's. I didn't
What
want.
would your parents have said?
My dad probably would have said I was full of shit.
You've been dipping in that home brew. What's going on?
I told you not to eat those mushrooms in the field.
Actually, my grandfather used to. He was a moonshiner, so it's.
That explains
how'd
it.
I know? Everybody was back then.
Yeah.
Alcohol played a huge part in America. You know that the Johnny Appleseed. Remember that legend of Johnny Appleseed? He went around and gave everybody apples. That was so everybody could make apple cider.
Yep.
Because no one trusted water, because they came from Europe, and the water in Europe would kill you. Parts of it, especially the cities and that. So they had that myth that the water was tainted somehow. And so everybody had to grow apple cider. And that's why Johnny Appleseed was so popular.
Oh, wow.
Alcohol.
Alcohol, he says.
So I had a question for you. You did some voice acting too. Did you enjoy that?
The voice?
Yeah, the voice acting.
Yeah, that's fun, man. That's a lot of fun. It's good. The more you do it, the better you get at it, But it's the whole industry, it's just such a joy to be in it. I mean,
Doesn't matter what you're doing.
You're part of this creation. You're this whole creative world is so beautiful because you're stockpiling dreams and
Right.
entertainment. It's such a good life. Can't believe it. See?
And then it
Wow.
goes quiet.
Then
Really?
it goes
I
quiet.
I
Yeah.
I got a bunch of questions if you
Oh,
want me to.
go ahead. I'm enjoying you. I'm just
Uh,
enjoying it. Go ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
just to get this dork question out of the way, I
I
heard
knew you had one of those.
That's why I just let him
I
go.
only have one. I only have one because I just.
But it's in
That's
20. But it's in 27
that's
parts.
an annoying dork move. I only have one, and then he won't tell you what it is.
Yeah. I heard you were a big fan of the Joker movie.
Big fan, huge fan. That was the best performance. Story, everything was perfect, and it was pure comic book. It actually showed the power of the comic book. Because the comic book had immense power, still has.
Right.
But because we're in a different, well, what we're seeing right now is like television comic, because that's what they did back then. But what the Joker did as a comic book, they went inside, so deep inside, that you got this guy that was a killer as a what do you call it? Like everybody was rooting for.
Yeah.
it was so crazy. But that's the power of comics, because no matter what you said, you looked at the art. That's all you saw. That's what I see. If you're an artist, that's all you see. It's like you're on heroin, only art is the drug, And so when you get bombarded with an artistic show like that, and then the acting, the Joker himself, and the way that's what I always loved about comic books, because they took the obvious and they just they make you see all angles of the situation, the beautiful angle, the horrific angle, all of that, and in one movie, his dance. Oh
yeah.
I was, of course, I was medicated up yin yang, but
I was waiting for that.
Well, it's certainly one movie that you definitely watch a couple times and you miss certain things, like like part of the movie, like what's reality and what's not, because it gives some subtle clues. But with that being said, and talking about comics, what are some of your favorite stories that you've read?
what stories you mean?
Like comics, growing up, were you a Batman kid?
No, growing up, I became very audio, music, radio, and I got all my information there. Reading was tough for me, because in the beginning we never had electricity. We had the Coleman lamps, and it wasn't a good reading light, and we never had the books either, or the ability. My dad was Chinese. He had a grade 12 education, but he said maybe about 6 or 7 words my entire life. It felt like it. He was very man of few words, very Chinese. My mother was part native, as I found out, but the part they hid all my life. It was funny. It was okay to be married to a Chinaman, but you couldn't tell anybody you were native. That was funny. Yeah. Now, what was the question? I forgot.
No. I was asking about comics, but other than Joker, with all the new stuff that's out, is there anything that you're really drawn towards? Like, are you watching the Marvel stuff, the DC stuff?
Oh, well, yeah, if I have to, I don't go out of my way. I go out of my way to see documentaries.
Yeah.
I love documentaries, and I love travel shows. Rick
nice.
Steves' travel show, man, it's fascinating. I love it. I love it. He showed a church that their art was all human bones. It's in Czechoslovakia, and they did all the what do you call the hanging sculptures, you know, with human bones, the skulls, and there's they're one proud. This one has every human bone in the human body, you know. And I've got to see that. It's a church, so I definitely got to see that.
I don't know if I want.
But books. When I was a kid, literature was my favorite subject. But when we were taught, it was like literature. It was time that you read or they read to you. You know, it wasn't. It was a Canadian school, and they were supposed to teach you French. But we had an English-speaking the principal who never spoke French teaching us French. So you can imagine we were limited. But
how would that work?
In the 50s in Calgary, it was during the Hungarian Revolution, and so we got a lot of the refugees. They were called DPs. Displaced people, displaced persons, and so Calgary got a ton. We all got all in Canada. Canada was open the borders for them, and I think the states did too to some degree, but Canada really did. And so next thing you know, we had a championship soccer team, you know, in our school, because these guys, they had to start school earlier, you know, because they had to get their English together. So we had the huge guys, you know, 6-footers in grade 4 or 5, you know, it was incredible. But the language and the culture was a big blend then. And that really helped. And art, all that, and music too. When I was started my music career, was playing Irish jigs, you know, for dancing, you know. And so my early training was rhythm guitar player for a fiddle player, and we'd play parties and 8 years old, and that was my early life experiences, because back then if you were 8 years old and lived like anywhere in the country, you were like considered an adult, you know, because you had the strength. Right. You know, that's why those big farm guys ended up being big football players, you know, because they start real early when you're a kid, you know. Wow. And that was a good. There's all sorts of really good things that happened, you know, in my life growing up that gave me the stamina, you know, to do what we did, you know. And same as Cheech. Cheech had the same upbringing. You know, Cheech's dad was a LAPD, but he was Mexican, so they laid patio on the weekends. He had to. It was part of being a Mexican. so Cheech was, you know, 8 years old. He was laying patio, you know, carrying cement and all that shit, you know, and that. And then Cheech became a potter. And he went to Canada to get out of the draft, and he went right up to this world-renowned potter. And there, being Mexican, he got a job carrying the potting cement around and cutting wood and throwing pots after he did all his work in the daytime. No, it changed his life, man. And he grew up. He moved right next to me where I grew up in Calgary, right the town, you know, where we used to go for our weekends, you know, vacations. You know. Yeah. So serendipity. Wow. Was there a question in there somewhere?
I did see that.
So Dal is asking, what music have you been listening to? Any recommendations? And
what music I've been listening to? Any recommendations?
Yeah, and he wants to thank you for the memories of chilling with his friends, laughing at your movies.
Oh, personally, you know, I'm a jazz guy. You know, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell they're doing. You know, no, I love jazz and I love music. I love everything. You know, I'm not fanatical about it. You know, like some people, they have to have it playing all the time. I wasn't like that. But actually, you know, what I was doing when I was getting an Uber or a Lyft, I would say, ask the drivers what music they liked. And I did a little study when I was doing it, you know, a lot of Eastern, you know, Middle East music. And then I turned them on to jazz. I turned them all on to jazz. And they cool. Yeah. That's, if I got to listen to anything, it'll be jazz.
So to all you Uber drivers, if Mr. Chong reaches out for an Uber, you best be playing jazz. Just saying. If he says, what kind of music do you like? It's jazz. It will reflect in your tip.
I asked them.
Right.
That's cool. I love Uber and Lyft because you get so intelligent people driving you. A lot of teachers, you know, school teachers. And I had she was a math teacher. Yeah. And we had I learned a lot about math, you know, the history.
So I know there was a couple other questions that I saw pop up in there, Leo.
Yeah, Jeremy's asking, is there anyone you still want to work with that you haven't had a chance to?
Yeah, there was. I'm trying to think of who it was. It was like, oh man, he'd be perfect in a Cheech and Chong movie. God, I can't think of who it was. That's the way my memory is nowadays. It'll come eventually.
It'll come to him. So Pops Van
Circle it around.
Yeah, Pops Van Zandt actually had a question too. That was a couple before. I think it was right before that. No.
Okay.
No, right above Jeremy's.
Who wrote the John Hancock building skit?
John Hancock. Well, Cheech and I wrote it all. We happened we happened to be facing it in our hotel, looking out as we were recording, because when we signed up with Lou Adler, he was the recorder, the guy that owned the record company. He would send crews out to wherever we were, and with the tape recorder, and we would sit and record. And so we're sitting there looking at the John Hancock building. It was a combination. I'm not sure who started it, but it was like it's when we do the advertising for jumping off the Hancock building. Easy diving boards, you know. Such sick humor. It was sick. Very sick humor. But it made us laugh. You know, if it was sick enough to make us laugh, then we would share it with the world.
Which would make us laugh.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So it worked.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I loved it. I loved the fact that we made Catholics, call their teacher Sister Mary Elephant.
Sister Mary Elephant. I can hear it in my ear right now. The screaming of class.
Class. See what we did. My kids, my older daughters, they were teens when we did the records, and they were in school, and so both of them would contribute unknowingly. You know, they would tell me something that would resonate. And Cheech has got such a great memory, and he remembers his childhood, and his childhood was so funny. It was like sitcom gold, you know. Right. And that's really what Up in Smoke was, you know, Cheech's part, you know. It was
definitely gold. I can say that.
Yeah, it was
all of them. It wasn't just that. I think it was every single one of the movies that you guys did.
Yeah,
had something unique about it.
Yep.
That it connected with so many people.
Yeah,
I was definitely one of them. I was probably heavily medicated at the time when I watched it, but
well, that really helped. It wasn't
Yeah,
necessary,
oh, yeah.
but it definitely helped.
Well, I was able to follow the story better.
Right. It made more sense.
Right. So I know I saw another one that was back here from Super Retro somewhere, Leo.
Oh yeah.
'Cause
So
we're getting close to that time, so I want to make sure that.
yep. Did you have a hard time coming up with the concept of Cheech and Chong mobile game?
The mobile games. Well, we haven't come up with any concept. At least I haven't.
Bud Farm, you have one.
The Bud Farm.
Yeah.
That's a mobile game. It's a farm. How can it be mobile?
You're killing it.
Oh, we're killing it on mobile. That's my son telling me, but I don't know. Yeah, that's his job anyway. My job is to get high and be funny.
Right?
You do that well.
You remember all the other shit, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, we got a mobile game, the Bud Farm, Cheech and Chong's Bud Farm. And yeah, that was fun. You know.
He's like, you have a mobile game. I love it.
You got anything in the works now? Are you working on anything new now?
Always, but nothing of that caliber, you know. There's a documentary that's being fine-tuned as we talk. And then we got a few paths that we're going to wander down and see what's there, you know. I've got some ideas, but I'm not going to
divulge.
Well, I'm not going to until they get closer to reality, because you got to be careful now.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah.
You get ripped off just thinking about shit. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, I was thinking about that.
Wait, that was my idea. I thought about it earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that idea. Well, I'll tell you, I had an electric bike. It was, I guess it was around 81, 81, around there. I had a friend whose dad was an inventor, and he built one for me. It was a tricycle, you know, and big ass battery in the back where you carry shit. Big ass battery, and it hooked it up, and boom, it worked. But but you can't do two things at once.
Right.
You know, a double-minded man is not stable in his ways. That's a biblical quote. And so I've had quite a few failures, but they were like more than failures, they were feeble attempts. So, right. But it was something that I had to try to do, you know, while I was doing what I'm doing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Failures are good. Yeah. You learn something from them.
You have to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Failure is a growth food.
Yep.
Yeah. I know we are coming up on time. Last question I have for you on my side, and I think this is just absolutely fabulous. I read that you said inside that you're not old. You're only as old as you feel, and you also you still go to the skateboard shop to buy your clothes. Is that true?
Well, there's no skateboard shops now to talk with, but definitely, I go to dispensaries now, and they give me clothes. I don't have to buy shit. People just give it to me, and yeah, for sure. You're old. It depends. It depends on your mind. You know, you are really. That's why you got to keep your mind filled with really nice thoughts, you know, because your mind is almost like a garden. You know, you got to put the right amount of care and tender, loving care and the right kind of minerals in it to keep it flexible and growing, you know, eager, fed. fed with
That's
good
where
things.
THC and CBD come in.
Well, as long as you mix it with good literature and, good
Mhm.
art, good music, don't waste it. Don't waste the time. Don't waste the high. First of all, don't waste the high in being miserable,
Right.
Because you have the ability, we all have the ability to change our mind, and if you start going down a path where it's going to be miserable, get off that path. And the way you do it, you go, oh, look, like you do little kids, you want to distract them and say, oh, look what I got over here. Well, do that with your mind, say, oh, well, look at her. She's kind of cute. Get your mind on other good things. And then time will go by, and next thing you know, it's tomorrow.
Well, the next day.
Right.
No, you got to have tomorrow first. It can never be the next day.
So you said the documentary is coming out soon?
The documentary, it will pop out probably right after we get we're at the stock exchange. We go public with Cheech and Chong.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
And that's in the works now.
All right.
And,
Nice.
when we do that, then you'll find both Cheech and I at the airplane shows, buying our new jets, and at the boat shows, making a bid on whose yacht's bigger than, Cheech. Cheech will always try to get a bigger yacht than me, but I'll always beat him, because I'll go the sail route, and you can always get longer sails.
Wow. This has been such a pleasure and an honor to have you chat with us.
A lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun.
It's just,
if I wasn't doing this, I'd be probably doing something else.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of people watching, and a lot of people that wanted to know more about other things that happened in your life, but they can go listen to any other broadcast or podcast show and learn about that part of life.
Yeah, well, we also didn't want to ask questions that have been asked a million times before. It's just
right.
You did good. You did really good. They're all kind of new questions. I crack up at the ones that listen to me at one podcast and then write down almost the exact stuff that they just heard, and then ask me again. And it's almost like a test. Do they want to hear the same thing, or am I going to change it up a bit?
Or do I play that?
And now Cheech and I are doing shows together, and,
right.
And Cheech and I forever would communicate through the press. Whenever we did a meeting like this here, then that was usually the only time Cheech and I talked to each other. And so we would have a little visit, and we were doing that, having our little visit. It was great. It was all good. And our thing, what sold out, Paris?
NFTs.
Our NFTs sold out. We were on earlier today, and they sold out.
Yeah,
how many
actually,
did they sell?
Over 10,000.
Over 10,000.
Wow!
NFTs.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I can't talk about the money.
No, we don't. We never talk about money or politics or religion.
Yeah, I was gonna bring. When you said that, my first thought was, oh. And then I thought, yeah, okay, because I talk enough about that crap in other areas, So I like the show. This is a fun show. This is good.
Well, we want to thank you. So Leo, I know you got stuff to do. We are on that time. We were a little past that time. So why don't you wrap this thing up for everybody?
Oh, totally.
And can I lead? Can I lead now?
If you want to, yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
What an awesome dude.
Oh, that was so. I had one other quick question for him, but that's
Sucks to be you.
No. I know. It's just I tried not to. This is your guys' show. I didn't want to.
It's a team effort.
I know it's a team effort, but I want
right.
to make sure I didn't,
So,
yes,
thank you,
I'm going to wrap
everybody out
things up.
there.
Okay.
Yep.
I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. This is an amazing show. If you missed any of it, definitely, head on over to the Facebook page or YouTube page. You can catch the rewind right there. For me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. We got about 40 shows on the network. There's a ton of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. And we just launched Dead Dork Radio. You can find out more in the show notes up above or down below. And Benjamin, well, actually, no, we do Jeffrey.
Well, you see, you're all screwed up because the guest left.
I know.
Yeah.
So basically what you do is you say, as far as the guest, you can check the show notes up above or down below or wherever the hell they might be, where you may be. And that's how he interacts with his fans because that's how we got the notes.
Yeah.
Back to you. Or to
Jeffrey.
Jeff.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that show. I know I did. When you get a guy like that and you let him talk what he wants to talk, that's how it works. And I had such a ball. Look us up, stilltoking.com, Facebook, Token with the Dead. I don't know the other ones, but there's links all over the place so you can find us.
Right. And I'm going to say the same thing as Jeff. We could have touched on so many other aspects, from being imprisoned for cannabis and a lot of things to do with cannabis, but he does get those questions on a regular basis. So they're on a ton of other podcasts if that's really what you want to know. I think this was a blast, having him here. But to all our veterans and first responders, thank you for doing what you do so people like us can do what we do. We're out of here. We'll see you next week. We'll be back on Wednesday night with CJ Ramon from the
CJ Ramon.
Yep. So
we're doing another show this week?
Next week.
No, next Wednesday.
Oh, next week. Okay.
Holy, did you see him bug out, ladies and gentlemen? He was like, wait, what? No. Next week.
We're going to tell you about that tomorrow, Leo.
10 minutes before showtime.
Yeah.
Stay safe. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Step it off, break it down and lose it. Come on.